My name is Paul Iarrobino, so I think I know or recognize most of you. I want to give you a little introduction of what we're going to be covering today. And thankfully, we have this great panel of presenters, and they said very early on, let's make it 90 minutes so we don't need to rush at all today. So we're going to do our presentation, and then we have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. And I'm going to tell you the format a little bit just so that you're aware of that. First off, we're recording today's presentation. We're doing that so that Michael can make it available on the Hollywood Senior Center YouTube, or I can't remember, Community for Positive Aging / Hollywood Senior Center YouTube. So there's a lot of people that wanted to be here today that couldn't be here today. So I'm saying that so if you don't want to be on camera, you have a chance to not be on camera, but look at these wonderful smiling faces. So I wanted to give you a heads up about that. It won't be instantaneous. We'll need to kind of get it edited down. It'll be uploaded to their YouTube channel, To Live Happily Ever After. I'm going to ask that everyone mute themselves until we go to the Q&A portion today. Also, Michael, I'm going to send him a copy of this presentation. So if you're trying to furiously take notes for writing down URLs, don't need to worry about that. I will make that available, and Michael can email it to the group or even out to the center, I guess, right? Michael, I don't want to overcommit you, but is this something that you can send out to folks that even aren't here today?
Yeah, definitely. I can send it out to whoever.
Excellent. Great. Great. So just know that you don't have to take notes. However, we're going to be covering a lot of ground today. And if you don't have paper and pen, you may want to, because you may have a question or a comment. We're going to save those for the end because we're going to be covering a lot of different things. So if you want to jot down some notes, feel free. I have my little trusty notes here. And I just wanted to give a little background to how we got here today. So about a month or so ago, there was a presentation that was done by Travel Oregon. I heard great things about it. And during our Tuesday group, so for some of you who may not know, we have a twice a month group that meets on Tuesday at the Hollywood Senior Center / Community for Positive Aging. And that group was talking about it. And we were saying there's so much more that we could sort of have a conversation about. So today, all of the experts are older adults. So rather than having someone from Travel Portland or like Ride Connection, we're talking about our personal experiences. So you're not going to hear from an expert, but guess what? Everybody's their own expert of themselves. So just know that this is going to be conversational, and also keep in mind that some of the travel that we've done has been pre-pandemic. So it may not be the same today. That's why we're providing you with all the links with phone numbers and URLs. And the hope for today is that today will be more conversational. So it's like we're just learning from each other. So during Q&A, if you have a comment or observation, please say, yeah, I just took Amtrak last week and they are now doing XYZ. Great, because we don't know everything there is to know. Okay, so that is kind of where we're going to start from. I don't think I have anything else in terms that I wanted to say. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put up the PowerPoint presentation. So just give me a minute because I'm not always great. So share screen. Hold on. Uh-oh, wow. Can you all see that? Yay. Woo. Okay, so I'm very appreciative to my husband, Arnell, because he does all of this for us. So this is our presentation today, and thank you for joining us. We're going to start with, oops, I got to double click. Okay, we're going to start today with introductions. I've already introduced myself this afternoon. Let's start with Linda, who's one of our panelists today. Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda Johnston. I moved to Oregon 3 years ago. I'm originally from Michigan, and I just love this city, and it's so easy to get around in, and I'm glad we're talking about this topic today.
Thank you. Thanks. What about Vanita?
Hi, I'm Vanita Malin, and I moved here about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, to live with my son and his family. And I really enjoy Portland. And so, and I've been trying to learn all I can about what's available when I am available to go and do things.
Excellent, thank you. And Jim.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jim Rico, and I moved here to Portland about 1.5 years ago to be closer to my son. I also love Portland, and I love the weather, the rainy weather we're getting today. And I'm excited about this program because there's so many wonderful places to see throughout the area and the state, and it's a very easy to get around city. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you. And one of the things I just realized this morning when we were just practicing a little bit, as I didn't realize that all three of our panelists today are relatively new to Oregon. So I was like, oh my goodness, this is interesting. You see it from a different perspective. I've been here probably about 35 years now. So I guess I'm practically a native. So anyway, so we're going to just jump right in, and we're going to start with talking about shuttle buses this morning. Some of these I didn't even know existed. Actually, I think I didn't know any of these three were even an option. And Linda's going to talk about this, starting with the Groom shuttle service.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Again, I am not used to using mass transit. I grew up in a very rural area, and so I had to learn to use mass transit. And I have really become just really excited about being able to do this. When I moved to Portland 3 years ago, I decided for environmental reasons to give up my car. And so that forces you to really search out other opportunities for travel. So the Groom shuttle service is something really easy to use if you're trying to visit cities within Oregon. So it leaves from the airport, and you have to check the schedule because I don't think they're up to pre-pandemic scheduling yet, but I have used it to go to both Salem and to Corvallis. And I found it very convenient, very easy to use. You just take the MAX to the airport and you can pick it up there. And you don't have to worry about renting a car or anything like that. You just take an easy ride on the shuttle.
Great. And then there's the Point Bus.
And I love the Point Bus. I've used that several times to go from Portland to the beach. It goes all the way to Cannon Beach and then up to Astoria. And right now there are 2 buses a day leaving from Portland from the train station. And then there are 2 buses coming back from the beach back to Portland. So you have a choice of when to leave and when to come back.
Excellent. And there's the Flix Bus. Again, I've never heard of any of these. I've heard of what's the one that was orange, the Bolt Bus? I think that disappeared.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Flix Bus.
Okay, so the Flix Bus I had actually looked into. I've never taken this myself, but I had planned a trip to Spokane to visit a friend of mine and found out about the Flix Bus because that goes between Oregon and neighboring states. So this is a different kind of route. And I had looked into it to visit this friend, and it's a beautiful route to Spokane because it goes right along the river. Again, they are not up to pre-pandemic standards yet, but they're just starting to really get organized again. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to take this one in the future.
Excellent. And with all of these resources, again, we're providing the internet or the URL, so you can go there in real time and see what's going on. Thanks, Linda. And then we would be remiss if we didn't talk about our public transit options. Many people move to Portland and the metro area because we have accessible transportation. And so we're going to talk about the MAX, our buses, and the Portland streetcar. We're going to start with the MAX. And Benita, do you want to start us off this morning with how you take the MAX? You have to unmute. I know. Whoops. There you go.
I did it. I've only taken the MAX once recently, and that was when I went to the doctor and the traffic was so bad. So my son and I, he said, well, after I got done with the doctor, we'd go get on the MAX, and it was right outside the doctor's door. And so we did that, and we rode it up to Lloyd Center, I think. And then from there we walked home. But I would ride the MAX more when I'm able to travel more.
Great, very convenient, and I believe you have a mobility device, Benita. So it's
yes,
pretty
I
easy
have
to
a
get around.
I have a wheelchair and they have a good ramp and it's easy to get in and to, you know, to maneuver in the Max.
Excellent. All right.
You want to sit here?
Thanks. And Jim, what's been your experience with the Max?
And my experience with the Max has been the same. It's very easy to use, very reliable, very dependable. It's always on time. It's, you know, very, it's been very, very good for my usage. I use it to go downtown. I don't have to deal with parking that way. If I'm going to the airport, I'll take it straight to the airport. So I've always had a very positive experience with it, other than when the weather turns over 100 degrees. That's a problem because they close it down. But other than that, it's fabulous.
Problem for all of us.
Yeah. And so I've always had a very positive experience with it.
Great, thanks. And Linda, how about for you?
Yes, I use the Max all the time. I really like the service and it's very inexpensive. For seniors, it's only $1.25 a ride. And like Vanita mentioned too, they have elevator service at most of the stops or you can get off on flatland and it's really easy to use from that respect. So it's really available to everybody.
Thanks. And speaking of elevator, one of my favorite ways of taking the Max is to take it to the Oregon Zoo when they have the concerts. I'm not sure the status right now because of the pandemic, but what is so easy is you just take it right there and you're with other people who are excited to see like the B-52s or Melissa Etheridge and with all our stuff. And they have an elevator there. And if you haven't ridden it, it's pretty amazing because it's a very big distance. So you're going up and they tell you, rather than going from 0 to 1, it's like they measure it in feet. I think it's like 5,000 feet or something, but it's really amazing. You open the door and there you are, not having to deal with traffic, parking. It's just so easy to use for events. So anyway, that's the Max. We're now going to move over to the TriMet buses. And Linda, you use the bus system. How is that working for you?
It's really wonderful. And the thing that I like about the transit system here is that the Max and the buses and the streetcar are all connected. So you can use the same pass on all three. So quite often I'll take the Max and then pick up a bus or vice versa. So it really is easy to use. And again, the transit system goes all over the city. You can, you can ride the bus and it's really inexpensive and really easy to use.
Thank you. And Jim?
The same thing for me. I use the bus. I wouldn't say I use it frequently, but I use it a fair amount to either maybe go downtown or just to connect to a Max station. And I found it to be very easy as well to use. So it's been, very good.
Excellent. And then we also have a streetcar. Linda, tell us more about the Portland streetcar, how that works.
So there are limited routes on the Portland streetcar, but they get you around the city, which is really nice and it's very comfortable. One of the things about the streetcars is they do go by the hospitals. So for seniors, that can be a real draw. Just in the area, for example, where I live, I have 2 Max lines, 6 buses, and the streetcar is only about a half a mile away. So it's really convenient to use any of these systems. And I find myself kind of picking and choosing which one I want to take depending on where I go. And as I mentioned, they're all connected with the same ticket. So you can use them very interchangeably that way.
That's nice. So it seems like maybe if the weather, Jim mentioned the weather earlier, if it's a really hot day or a cold day or a rainy day, you might be able to pick and choose based on weather, for example. Is that how you might?
Yes. And also where I want to go, as Vanita mentioned, coming right out of her doctor's office, it's really convenient to plan which one because you can set, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but you can set how close you want to go to your destination, depending on the things that you use. So that can be a choice too of where you want, which, mode of transportation you want to take.
Excellent. That's a great segue because we're going to now talk about some of those different tools that are available for planning trips. And these are available online as an app. Let's see, Linda or Jim, who's going to cover this one? I can't remember.
Either one of us.
Okay.
maybe we can both give our thoughts
Great.
on it, but
Excellent.
the trip planner, TriMet trip planner is very easy to use. And you can just simply type in your destination and your location where you're traveling from. Or if you wanted to example, go to your doctor appointment and then want to go somewhere after your doctor, you can put in the doctor's address as the location to determine when you're there, you know, which line to take to your subsequent location. So it's very easy to use. And so, yeah, it makes it very, very easy.
Great. Linda, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I'll just give you an example. Like this morning, I was looking at an address in Hillsborough that I had never been to before. And so I got on TriMet Trip Planner and, it will tell you which stop to get off at in Hillsborough. And then in my case, it told me like 360 feet until my destination. So it was really, really exact and gives you very good directions on how to get there, especially in an area that you're not really familiar with. It's a good tool to use.
Great. Thank you. And then this was mentioned a little bit before about the fares. And Linda, talk to us about how this works.
So you can get what's called an honored citizen pass. And then you load money on that from the website. You can either load money directly from there whenever you're getting low on your card, or you can get a monthly pass and have it taken out directly from your bank account. So you don't have to remember to keep loading it. But the honored citizen pass gives you the lowest fare. So it's $1.25 for a fare. I particularly love it to go out to the airport because it's so convenient and it's only $1.25 where it would cost you a lot in gas and or parking to go out to the airport. And this way it's only $1.25. So it's really a good bargain for people who, especially honored citizens who are going to be able to use it for various amount of reasons.
And Linda, do you know what the monthly pass costs if people wanted to get the pass instead?
About $28.
Oh, wow. Excellent. That's very affordable. And there's also something called the Hop Card. And Jim, you know how that works. Tell us about the Hop Card.
The same thing. It is the pass that you swipe on the bus or at the Max station. In fact, this is mine right here. And you can just load money on it as needed. And to talk about that fare as well, the $1.25, great fare, but that's also good for a 3-hour time period. So if you are going somewhere and you're only there an hour maybe, and then you want to get back on the bus or the Max to go either home or to another location, you just swipe your card, but there's no additional charge during that 3-hour period of time. And so it makes traveling around the system very, very easy.
Excellent. So in Benita's case, she went to the doctor's. If it's in 3 hours, same fare. You can get to and from on that same fare. Is that right?
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
Correct.
Excellent. There's also something called Google Maps. And this is also a great way to have these different modes of transportation all coordinated. Jim, you've relied heavily on Google Maps, haven't you?
Yes, I tend to use Google Maps more than the TriMet Planner, but they both work equally well. I'm just used to Google Maps, but again, the same thing. You just put in your destination address and pick your location where you're coming from. It will automatically default to your location unless you change it. And then you can use the filter to either set it up for public transit or walking or driving, and you have those options. And when you set it for the public transit, it will tell you the which Max line to use, which bus number. You can also filter it to pick a location a little closer to you in terms of walking distance. When you it will also tell you when you reach your destination, how far to walk. So you can use these kind of filters if you want to change it in that regard. So I find it to be very easy to use.
Great. I use it when I'm on Yelp, and I want to find something to eat. And sometimes I'm like within walking distance because there's a lot of great restaurants. So you can kind of just say, I want to walk somewhere. And if you go the wrong way, it tells you. So it's kind of foolproof there. So, and then I wanted to just talk briefly about Ride Connection. Again, with the pandemic, things are different now, but included their phone number and their website address. They do provide door-to-door rides. I think they're at a limited capacity right now. They have a RideWise travel training program that helps people understand all the different options, and you have a sort of like a navigator that helps you plan trips. I know Linda, for example, said that she's from a rural area. You come to Portland or the Portland metro area, and it can be overwhelming. So they do a lot of tailored planning for people who are not familiar with transit. And they also have something called the Riders Club, which I understand that Hollywood Senior Center was part of, and right now that's on hold during the pandemic, but that's where people just get together and take public transit together for an activity. And I've heard that they've taken that to like the Portland Art Museum in the past and places like that. So Ride Connection is a great program that provides, and they work very closely with the senior centers, including Hollywood Senior Center. And then speaking of that, Portland Parks and Rec has a lot of different programming, and they do a really good job around transportation, and they have excursions. And Linda has really utilized this. So we're going to have you talk about your experience, Linda, with this.
Okay, first of all, the Portland Parks and Recreations has a class on how to use the mass transit system here. And right now it's online, but I just looked it up yesterday and it is free. And so if you want to sign up for that class to get more familiar with how to use public transit, like as I grew up, you're not used to it. I think it's a really good way to get started, and it just kind of introduces you to all the options. So that course is currently online and it's free.
Excellent. And then you've taken some of their van excursions.
I have. I love their van excursions. They go all over the state and they're very inexpensive and great fun. And you can, well, they have two kinds of trips right now. One is where you meet up at a certain place. Like I went to on an apiary tour a couple of weeks ago, and that was great fun, but we met there. And the other option is to get one of their vans, and their vans meet at the different centers, which are available on mass transit things. And so you meet there and then you pick up the van and go on someplace in Oregon. So I've taken several of those, and they're just starting up again now. I've registered for a few of them upcoming in this fall, but they're just started up again. You know, this part in the pandemic, they were all canceled last year, of course, but now they're just starting, and I'm really looking forward to those, and I've signed up for several of them.
That's exciting and a very good example of car-free options that people may not have known about. And then Linda, talk to us about the Portland Smart Trips. You've used this before.
Yes, I have used this several times before, and right now these are self-directed, but prior to the pandemic, these were wonderful ways to get to know different areas in Portland, and they would have all sorts of activities in a particular area, and then they would give you a map of this walking area in that particular part of the city. Right now they're online, and you can download a map in a particular area and just walk around and get to know that area and follow the map. And I have found them really easy to use. You know, you don't have to print them out. You can download them to your phone and just follow them that way. But there are great ways to get to know a certain segment of the city that you may not have had much reason to visit before. So I've done many of these and I've really enjoyed them.
Great. I also just got a note here from Michael, who said he's in discussion with Ride Connection about restarting the Riders Club. Woo! This is great news. And we're planning to restart in September. But with the rising COVID cases in August, we put that on hold. So that's something that might come back. And the center does a great job with updates. So we'll be watching for those e-blasts out there to see if there's any updates about the Riders Club. Thanks, Michael, for that comment. And let's see here. Oops, I have to get back in. Oh, and then there's Amtrak. This is my slide. I really, really like Amtrak. It's a great way to go from one city to another. Seattle, for example, I've taken Amtrak there several times, and there's something so nice about just going from like downtown Portland to downtown Seattle, and you could just go for the day or spend the night or two there. They have really good public transit up there. I went there a couple of years ago to go to some festivities, and it was great because we took public transit the whole time, and just got to see a different part of Seattle that I hadn't seen before. But I think it's just the ability to go from city to city is what appeals to me. And they have really good pricing, including senior discounts. They also have their own kind of like frequent flyer program. They have their own rewards program. And I have a good friend that just took the train down to San Francisco, and he treated himself because he hasn't traveled in a long time, and he got one of the sleeper cars. And it was just a really nice, relaxing experience to be able to just go to San Francisco, visit some friends, and then come back. And it's like, it was an overnight journey. It was very enjoyable. So I always put a plug in for Amtrak. And then Jim's going to talk to us about the meetup.
And Meetup is a really great way to just kind of connect with other people and to just, do some different types of activities, such as hiking or meeting up to listen to music or go to the different walks and things of this nature. And the first thing I do want to say about it, though, because one of the concerns some people have is it is not a dating site.
Sorry.
By name, it sounds like one, but it's not a dating site. It's just a way to connect with people. And you can kind of filter your interest in the different areas. If you're interested in, dining out, in happy hours, in meeting up for lunch or hikes, all of these different types of things. So it's a great way to connect and make friends. And one of my first meetup events that I did when I first came to Portland was a group where we went mushroom hunting. So that was a lot of fun. So it's a great way to do it. And if there is any interest with the group, I'm willing to even do kind of our own little meetup group, kind of informally. And we can maybe meet at a particular location and maybe take some public transit and, kind of help people get familiar with that system. So it's just a great way to connect and have some fun with other people.
Thank you, Jim. And that's let's see if we can talk about that during the Q&A, because as Michael said, the Writers Club at some point will be coming back. But I just want to tell sort of like this funny story where, and actually I think we're all on the call. So Jim, who's part of the Tuesday group that I facilitate, Peter, who's here today, and Sharon were talking during one of our Tuesday groups, and lo and behold, I didn't know this, but they all got together and went to the art museum. And it was like, oh, like, great. And they hadn't all met each other before. I think Jim had met Peter and vice versa, but I don't think Sharon, you can verify this later, was all online. It was all just, and it was just, I was so elated to hear that folks were doing some things offline together. So it was just an example of sort of like, it's in many ways, it's like a meetup. And also in many ways, it's like a writers club where people, if they want to join in one central place, like meet at the Hollywood Senior Center, we can walk to the Max, we can whatever. And if people just want to meet at the location, like Linda was saying with the excursion bus, you can meet there, take the bus, or just, so I think that's another way to be thinking about this, is that we have the power to do what we want, and also COVID safe, people wearing masks and that kind of thing. So thanks for talking about that, Jim. And then there's something out of New York that Jim also has had really good experience with. Jim, talk to us about Dorot.
And Dorot is it's an online programming, very similar to what we have here with the Community for Positive Aging. And so they have a calendar that you go on an online calendar to check their programming. So they offer a wide variety of online Zoom programming that may be of interest to people. You can just kind of scan it and see if there's a program you'd like to attend. And it's all done online. But it is based in New York City, Midtown Manhattan. So there is a 3-hour time difference. So if you do check the program, just bear in mind all the times are East Coast time.
Great, thank you. And then we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the wonderful, wonderful programming available at Hollywood Senior Center for Positive Aging. And Benita, what has been your experience taking these virtual classes?
Very good. I took some Tai Chi and I enjoyed that until I got to the point I couldn't do it anymore. And then
What's the issues of where it's broken?
what was that?
Somebody needs to mute. Maybe Jim can help me look for the person who needs to mute. Sorry
Well,
about that. Keep going.
Anyway, but I've done that, and then I've been to the Gordon Neal programs when he was at the senior center, and I do those online now. I really enjoy those, and I've done some of the cooking shows or some of the cooking things, and I was going to get in on the book club this month, but I was busy, so I didn't make it. Next month, that's one thing about it. There's always another month, and so other than that. But I'm very happy with their programming.
Excellent. And I seem to remember, Benita, you mentioning in a past conversation that the virtual programming has been easier for you than doing some of the in-person stuff. Could you tell us why that is for you?
It is because, number one, I do have trouble walking and getting around right now. And then I don't have to rely on getting a hold of anybody and getting a ride. You know, my family's busy. If they have time, they can take me, but most of the time they don't have time. And so that's why I really enjoy it, because I can do it whenever it's like this, whenever, you know, it's on, and I can just enjoy it.
Excellent. Great. And Jim, you've taken part in several activities, both before when the center was open and virtual. What's been your experience?
My experience has been the same. It's been very, very positive, very good. There's a wide variety of programming. I like to kind of try everything and then kind of pick and choose where my interests are and what I enjoy. But yeah, the programming is wonderful. And yeah, I just can't say enough good things about it.
And we have Michael here on the call today. And I just have to say, as someone who facilitates some groups, it's been excellent working with Michael, because I can just say, hey, we have a need for something. I'm hearing people want to talk about decluttering, and like, okay, sure. So it's been great to be able to partner with Michael and the center to just introduce some new ideas and programs. And Jim, you did that as well. Didn't you see a need and you started a group?
I did. Michael and I had talked about this. I presented an idea to Michael one day that I'd like to, see a group talking about loss. And he asked me if I would be willing to facilitate it. And we talked about it and put the program together. And it's a once a month program that I offer as just a conversational group to, for people just to talk about their loss, a loved one. It could be the loss of a job. It could be the loss of a pet, just, a chance for people to come together and connect and talk. And it's called Connection Through Loss. And like all the other programs that we offer, you can just go to the online website for the center and check on the virtual calendar, and they're all listed right there.
Perfect. So. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. And then there's also the availability to do neighborhood walks. Actually, I saw this very same picture today in the e-blast that came from the Hollywood Senior Center. I'm going to start with Benita about what your experience has been with walks, maybe in your neighborhood, and the importance of getting out.
Well, I have walked in my neighborhood here, and of course, I go with a friend, and it takes us about twice as long to do it as it does anybody else, because we're always talking about all the flowers and all the vegetation and the trees. And so it's just great. And the weather has been really good to do it. And that's another thing that's just great here. So, but yeah, I've really enjoyed it.
Excellent. And Jim, what's been your experience?
Same thing. I've had a wonderful experience. There's so many different parks throughout the city of Portland and so many interesting neighborhoods. It's great to walk the neighborhoods, see all the different homes side by side. Two houses will be completely different. So it's really good. And in the parks, there's always something going on. I've gone to a park just for a walk, and there's a concert going on, or there's comedy at the park going on, or different things. So yeah, it's a very vibrant city with a lot of activity and wonderful places to walk.
Excellent. And Michael, since you're here, could you tell us about the different neighborhood walks that are organized through your center?
Sure. So right now we currently have 2 different walking programs. The first is the one we've had for a while, and that one starts from the northeast corner of Grant Park and sort of walks through that Grant Park neighborhood. The other one that we just started, actually, so that first one is on Tuesdays and Saturdays starting at 10:30. And then we're also now doing a walk where masks are mandatory, just for people who want to, go to a walk where the masks are mandatory. And so that one's at Wilshire Park, and I believe that one starts at noon on Thursdays. So every Thursday at noon at Wilshire Park, 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday and Saturday. And just a note about, obviously, the weather. It's changing a little bit. We're getting some rain. It's going to start getting colder. So we recognize that, walks are kind of rain or shine things for the most part. But when the weather gets really cold or when the weather gets rainy, I'm having the walking group leaders hopefully talk to the participants about potentially meeting at the mall or something, because, that can be a good alternative. Obviously, walking is more than just exercise. It's getting out, fresh air, seeing the neighborhoods, connecting, all that stuff. So a mall is not as engaging as walking through the neighborhood, but it's better than not doing it at all. So that will be an option that will be coming up as well. We might even do one day where, similar to doing like the mask required walk on Thursday, doing a walk where we just do an inside walk for people that want to participate in that.
Great. Thanks for the update. And we're almost to the end. I appreciate your patience. This is our last slide, and I heard great things about the Travel Oregon brochures. I believe that Hollywood Senior Center even has some of these. Michael's saying yes, which is great. You can go to their website. You can order these online. They can be mailed to you. You could also go to the URL and download them. I also understand they have some great guides also by region. So if you're interested in going to like Eastern Oregon or different parts of the state, to the coast, whatever, you can get some more detailed stuff. So wanted to put a plug in for that. And let me just ask Michael, if you have much of a supply of these, if people come into the center. I don't want to overcommit you.
Yeah, we have a whole box of them. So
okay,
unless we get 500 people coming in, we should be fine.
Okay. And I'm wondering, would they, by chance, could they be available in the gift shop because that's open now? If that would be an option, I don't know.
Sure, I can talk to them about putting that up, and I can also, their Travel Oregon's always willing to send us more as well if we, have a huge response. So I'll talk to the gift shop about putting that up, because I do think these are really good guides, especially for people who are new to the area or who are not new to the area, but have been, homebound from COVID for 2 years. So finally wanting to get out and explore.
Yes, great, thanks. And look at this, we're right on track. So we have plenty of time for Q&A. So I am going to stop the share. Oh, and there we are. And we're gonna open up to Q&A. So I see already one hand raised, Frida. So I'm gonna start with Frida. And if any of you have a question, please raise your hand either electronically or like this, and we'll go around. Frida. You have to unmute first. Frida, you have to unmute. Yeah.
Okay. I had a question for Vanita, because I too would like to walk slowly. And I talked to Jim about the other walk groups, and it sounds like they're probably going faster than I want to do. So what walk did you go on, Vanita, that was slow?
So, but Vita, go ahead. And I think it's more of like a neighborhood walk with a friend. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Right now, it's just a neighborhood walk with a friend, and it's at the Siskiyou area. And so and then the other one was over on, it's over by one of the schools. I can't remember because I am new to the area and I haven't been out and about too much. But yeah, I don't walk as much as I'd like to. I'm gonna have my knee replaced, so I'm gonna be able to walk more.
Okay. So
Right.
that's just like a personal arrangement. It's not available. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So I would encourage you to maybe talk to a neighbor or someone that might walk at a similar speed or a similar rate. If you have someone, and if not, maybe that might be something we could explore at the center, see if there's a way to set up a buddy system or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Frida. Yeah. Let's go over to Sharon next. Sharon, it's good to see you.
Good to see you. I have used almost every form of transportation here, but learned about a few new ones. But in addition, two comments I want to make. Ride Connect, when I first came here, for the life of me, I could not figure out how to make the exchange at the Rose Quarter. And Ride Connect offers a personal person that will come with you to help you navigate the system. Whether they've reinstituted that or not, I don't know. So that's one comment. The other thing, I had been intrigued about going out to Vancouver, Washington. And I know that the train goes there, Amtrak, which I could easily take. And when I explored it, the return time didn't work. So we haven't mentioned C-Tran, the bus transportation. And I don't know if this is the appropriate time. I did a lot of research yesterday, and bottom line, learned that you can go on an express bus from Portland to Vancouver.
Oh.
Using the hop card.
Oh, using the hop card.
Exactly, yes.
Even though it's, because isn't the hop card TriMet? Is that right? But they.
Oh, it's C-Tran, C-T-R-A-N.
Oh, they have their own hop card separate from TriMet?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You can use your, okay, I called their customer service because they have maps, they have timetables. It was so confusing that I got someone. Basically, you can get on a bus here and it goes up I-5. There are many stops along the way, and you use your Portland TriMet card.
Okay, so just so I'm understanding, I think I understand, Sharon, you can take a TriMet bus that goes to Vancouver. It's an express bus. Or are you saying it's a C-Tran bus?
It's a C, the capital C,
Yeah.
Tran. And I'm planning to do that in the near future. So
Okay, I think of it as sort of like currency, because I'm just like, well,
It's-
I'm in Europe and I'm going to go to the UK now, and it's like a different system. And yeah.
it seems to be that they're somehow interrelated.
Got it. And are you also implying that maybe that could be a solution to get to that Vancouver Amtrak stop, or is that doesn't go there?
No, it would be the event, the Vancouver Amtrak stop is not that close apparently to the waterfront,
Got
which
it.
is my goal. And so there's some buses you could take once you take to do downtown Vancouver, if anyone should.
Excellent.
Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so I didn't really think of C-Tran as an option here, but there's a lot of development in Vancouver right now, and they have a beautiful farmers market on weekends and that kind of thing. So does it take you right to downtown Vancouver?
No, it doesn't. No, but they told me what bus to transfer from.
Got it. Okay, great.
It was unclear how long or short the walk was. Couldn't determine that.
Okay, all right.
That's what.
That might be something the Writers Club could look at in the future. Like I don't know if it's gonna be violating any rules, but we're gonna go to a different state. All right, thanks, Sharon. Thanks for that input. All right, looking for a hand, either virtually or a raised hand to contribute to our conversation. Rika, thank you. Gonna have to unmute Rika.
Am I on mute?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I did bring the book to write down if I have my questions, so I kept it. First question I have is this, all these rides and all the information, is that age limited? Suppose you want to go with your family and you are the older person and the rest of the people is 50 and younger. So is this, the buses and all this thing, what we have, is that age limited?
No, so I'm going to do my best to answer, and then if any other panelists want to jump in. So for example, with TriMet, if you're an honored citizen, it's going to be less expensive. And if you're not an honored citizen, then you pay more. And then some systems are different, you know, like I can't speak for like what the cutoff is for age. Like who decides how old you are to be a senior? Good luck with that. Some places are 55, some are 60, some are 62, some are 65, just like the senior discount. I get it in some places, I don't get in others. So I think that all of these options are available, except maybe for ones that are just limited to seniors. Linda, I'm going to go to you next. For example, with the excursions and things, is that just for older adults only?
The van trips are age things too. So I think it's 62 and above for the Portland Parks and Rec for the senior trips. And, you know, that's really I think it's a good price for all of their van trips in general, but it's definitely probably a discounted thing for seniors.
And Linda, on that same topic with the shuttle, oh, 1 second, Rika, I just want to, 1 second, I'm going to just clarify one other thing on that same topic. You mentioned the shuttle buses earlier. There was 3 of those. I'm assuming those are all ages. Is there a senior price? Is it different with those different shuttle buses?
I'm not sure which shuttle buses you mean.
Oh, the Flix Bus.
Oh,
and
yes, they have senior rates.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, Rika, back to you.
Yeah, so then as we were discussing different things, the one excursion, what is their prices?
They're going to vary by trip, I'm assuming. Is that correct, Linda?
Yes, that's correct. You just have to look at the individual trip that you want to go on, and they're all listed on their website, and you can also get one of their paper catalogs, but they're all different prices, but I have found them to be very reasonable.
Okay.
Okay, excellent.
And then I had, okay, can we get all this information in a notebook or in a flyer, or all this information, the numbers and where and what and all this thing, what we are discussing right now?
Yeah.
Can we get information?
Yeah, I said earlier that I could send the PowerPoint to Michael, and Michael can send it out to this group. Actually, let me go back to Michael on this to make sure I'm not over promising. Can this go out as sort of like an email to, he's saying yeah. So we could get this out. If you're on the Hollywood Senior Center's email list that gets the updates, if anybody is not on that, can you raise your hand if you're not getting emails from Hollywood Senior Center and you would like to get this? Anybody not on the Hollywood Senior Center mailing list? So Michael will send it. I'll send it to Michael. Also, what we can probably
get the paper form rather than printed and all this thing. When we want to have it, you don't want to have the PowerPoint and computer. Is there any form of a booklet or paper?
I can't commit to that. Maybe Michael can answer that. But what I'm thinking we can do is send out the link to this on the YouTube video, and we could also send out the PowerPoint presentation. Whether they can print it out on paper, I don't know. Michael, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, if you want to call me or email me, I can send you a hard copy.
Great. And Fumiko is asking for the same thing. So I'm going to just ask Michael to put in his phone number, say it out loud. So if anybody here would like to get that. Michael?
Yeah, do you just want me to put it in the chat, or do you just...
Why don't you just verbally mention it?
Okay, so it's my number's 971 341 2130.
Okay, and I'll have you repeat it one more time.
Okay, 971 341 2130.
Excellent, thank you. And then I see Sharon has one of those magnetic hand things up there. Sharon?
I just want to finish my last question.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I have that question to Jim, that what he mentioned, that we can do local something, get together and go somewhere.
Yes, yes.
I'm very much interested. So if you're making a list or something, if you can get our email or phone number or whatever, I'm very much interested to go. We know many people right here. We can kind of.
Got it. So that's great. I'm so glad you mentioned that, Rika. Jim, how do you want to handle that? Do you want to just do a show of hands now and see if we can get something started? What works for you, Jim?
We could do that, and again, I don't want to overcommit to you, Michael, too, but is it something that maybe we can, I can see you laughing under the mask. And so I don't know is that something that we could do through the center, or we can just make a list, and I'm fine with that as well. Whatever would work best.
I mean, I'm happy to help facilitate something like a meetup group or something. If there's interest, I think that's a good idea. I think we're just now, starting to think about getting people back together, because numbers are going down, things like that. So I think that type of idea is great. So if there's interest out there, I mean, off the top of my head, I don't have an idea for how to coordinate that right this second, but I think that's definitely something to think about.
Maybe we could maybe talk about it and then put something out. There may be others that aren't on the call that might be interested, but I'd be happy to take the lead on that if we do set something up.
Okay.
Excellent. So here's what I'm going to propose that we do in the interest of time is I'm going to get a show of hands right now. Who would be interested? So we have a starter group, and we don't really need to have that many people, and then we can add to it. So I see Rika's hand. So Rika is interested. Jim is interested, and June is interested. Let's see. I see 3 hands. Okay. And all right. And then June, do we have your contact information? Oh, you have to unmute yourself. Sorry. You're still not muted yet, honey. Unmute. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm signed up with the center. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So we have your email address through the center.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So I see that we have Jim and Rika who are interested. I'm sorry, Jim, Rika, and June. So there's 3 people right there. That's enough to start something. And I'm going to ask if Jim and Michael could talk offline and see where that leads. And maybe even if it's just the 3 of you say, we're going to go to ABC, who else wants to join that? And does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, and before I go to Sharon, Rika, did you have any other questions?
I did have one, but I forgot, but I'm gonna go ahead with the next one. I'm gonna look up in my notebook. I just wrote something.
Okay, thanks. All right, thanks so much. Okay, Sharon.
That hand was from before.
Oh, okay, I have to, I'll see if I can remove it. Let's see. I can actually lower your hand. Look at that. Wow, I learned something new every time. All right, okay.
And Paul, I
Yes.
just wanted to add something we were talking about on the Max a little bit earlier. The Max is a great option also if you just want to kind of get out on the Max and ride the Max at the end of the line or something. So it makes for an enjoyable couple of hours. You can just ride to the end of the line, get off, maybe get lunch, hop back on, or ride out to the airport and go visit the Travel Oregon office. They have one right there at the airport, and come back on a rainy day like today. Is a great way to spend a couple of hours.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do this. Let's just play a little bit. Okay, so let's assume it's Oregon and it's going to rain. So whatever day that you guys decide to go do something, we're going to say it's going to be rainy and drizzly. Okay, so where do the 3 of you want to go? Because I'm going to just try to save a little time here. So June and Rika and Jim, let's just assume that we're going to leave from the Hollywood Senior Center. We're going to make some assumptions. And where do you want to go? What's going to happen? It's going to be during the daytime. And we're not going to worry about the date right now, but during the day, on a rainy day, where do you want to go? Anyone?
Well, I haven't.
Anywhere.
Rika says anywhere. June?
I haven't been to the art museum. I'm longing to see it.
Okay, and don't they have a senior day once a month that it's cheap to get in, or they do something?
Do they?
Yes. Anybody know? Anybody want to Google? It's like once a month. It's like on a Thursday or something. First Thursday. Sharon, you're a member of the art museum. Do you know? I think they have one day a month. Sharon's unmuting.
Look it up right now.
All right, Sharon's looking up. So
I don't
June says,
think they've done it. I think
what?
they discontinued that, I think, during COVID, because I
Ah.
used to go every month and I think they discontinued it.
But it's fun to go with a group.
Yes.
That makes a difference.
yes, it does make a difference.
What is available, the Oregon Historical Society
Oh.
is free for Multnomah residents, Multnomah County residents.
Oh, have you been there before, Jim?
I have.
All right, give us a little commercial to entice June and Rika that they want to go.
It's just the Oregon Historical Society. They have some different exhibits. They have a Native American exhibit, and they have some different, a lot of different, exhibits with regards to kind of the history of Oregon. And it's a great way to spend a couple of hours. And like I said, it's free if you live in Multnomah County.
Well, do all three of you live in Multnomah County?
Yes,
Would you like to go as your first trip?
yes, with a group, especially.
Would be fine.
Yeah.
Or
it's gonna
there's
be a group.
another option that I've
Okay.
done that was kind of fun. I just rode the Max line to the end of the line over out to Hillsborough, and then got off on at the stop and walked through the little city center right there. And there's a great little antique store that I stumbled upon, and there's some restaurants and places where you can get some coffee or some lunch or whatever. So things like that are available.
All right, so Peter, I'm sorry, Jim is throwing out two options. Rika, go ahead.
The last question, and now I just remembered that I just learned a couple of days ago, the Right Connection, they had a roundup, it's called a roundabout. I used to be on that thing. So there's they send you the calendar, and then each month they have different kind of places, like a Dahlia Garden or whatever, there's some Cannon Beach or etc. There are quite a few, they're full of things. And for example, I learned about it last week. There is a Hood River Harvest Fair. And I said, I'm interested. So I was talking to Right Connection, and then the transport is provided by the project linkage.
Yes.
MF. So first you have to tell the Right Connection. So Right Connection person, I've been here for so long, so I know quite a few people. And then she says, okay, fine, I'll send you the calendar. And then I say, okay, I'm interested in so and so. Then 2 days after, I get a call from Project Linkage, and that I learned that it is a boundary. They believe in the boundary. And they have come, I have moved to Hollywood Townhouse now here. And before that, I was on 34th near Grand Park. So I used to have it both places. And here also they have come with the van, and I've gone with a group of people to go. So and she said, we cannot take you because you are south of Sandy, which is, I can see here, half a block from me,
Yeah.
the Sandy is. But she said, no, we cannot take you. Then they say, if you have any question, talk to the customer service in Right Connection. Then I was talking with Cindy Brooke, and then she said, Rika, I think it's a good idea going around. Call Senior Center. I'm always with Senior Center all the time. But I call Senior Center, and they may have. So that is what I learned about. There's a boundary by certain trips that the Right Connection takes us, the older adult. That's all.
Yeah. So let me just say that before I go to Sharon, they do have the roundabout, and they do have different scheduled rides, including to the grocery store. I used to volunteer with them, so I'm familiar with it. And so it's a resource, but also due to COVID, they're taking less people because they have to provide the physical distancing. So
that's fine, but here they say they cannot take me.
Yeah.
But they said that I'm entitled for the grocery shopping, but nothing else.
Okay. Yeah, and that's one of their requirements. I'm not sure how it works, but Sharon's going to go up next.
Regarding that, there is also, I don't use it, but I have a number of friends who have handicaps and limitations. There is TriMet Lift, L-I-F-T, I think, that does transportation.
Yep.
Similar to Ride Connect, not as good, but similar.
Right. And actually, I'll make a note. That's something we should probably include in future presentations. Right. I want to go back to field trip while we're all here. and just see, Jim provided two different options. One is go to the Oregon Historical Association, which I believe is downtown. Is that right? Portland? Jim's nodding.
Right across
Yes.
from the art museum. It's
Oh,
very close.
right across from the art museum. Or you could take it to the last stop in Hillsborough and explore downtown Hillsborough with the little shops.
Or spend a day at the Clackamas Mall. It
Okay.
goes right to the too many options.
Oh my goodness, so many options. All right, we'll throw that in there. It's close to the holidays. You can go shopping at the Clackamas Town Center. All right, so does anything jump out at either? Let me go to Peter. Peter, go ahead. Unmute, Peter.
One other place that is accessible is taking the trolley to the OMSI. And you can pick that up very easily from our end of the woods here around 7th Avenue, I believe in the Lloyd Center. And it goes right there and does a turnaround at the OMSI and then winds its way all the way up to PSU again.
Okay, so another option is to go to OMSI, and I'm not going to micromanage it. So now you have four options.
Now you
So
know.
you're going to talk offline and see where you want to go to next. Okay, back to Peter.
One more thing.
Peter's got the floor. Peter, and then Rika.
Just
Peter.
one quickie, and I believe they're still doing it. For those of you who need to use Providence medical facilities, you can catch their shuttle bus here at the transit station on 42nd and Halsey.
Oh.
And it'll take you to the hospital directly at the main customer service or the main lobby area. And then you would, go to your appropriate building for either physical therapy or educational classes or what have you.
Oh,
So
wow, that's a great resource.
You
Yeah.
call the hospital though to check whether they're doing it or not. I live across from the transit station. It sure does beat walking a mile to get to the hospital.
Excellent.
So
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Rika?
Is a trolley and streetcar is the same thing? Is it synonymous?
Yes. Sounds like I see heads nodding, so that's a yes.
It's actually called the streetcar.
The Portland
Yeah.
streetcar. It's called the Portland streetcar.
I learned about trolley as I never heard about trolley. So it's the same thing. Okay.
It is.
It's a Pennsylvania thing.
Yeah.
People from out of town
Yeah.
call them.
Thank you.
Excellent feedback, and I'm also appreciating the new suggestions. I'm learning about C-Tran and all this, so thank you. Other questions, comments, feedback, ideas? Looking around. Let's see. I don't see anything. Leah is muted. Leah, did you have anything you wanted to ask or add, or Fumiko? Don't need to. Just want to give you an option since I can't see you guys. Okay, and I'm looking in the chat box. I don't see anything. Is there anything else from anybody? Wow. Okay. I think we're good. It's a little after 2, so it was kind of like an hour. We wanted to make sure that we provided enough time for Q&A. I'm glad that we had a chance to get together today and talk about some ideas. And again, with COVID, as we all know, things are a little wonky right now. And so things are somewhat back, depending on the different strain of transportation. Okay, so just in closing, this will be saved. Hollywood Senior Center, Center for Positive Aging will have a copy of this. It will be on their YouTube channel. And also we'll be sending out the link for the PowerPoint. Those of you who are requesting the paper copy, Michael will send that to you. And then Michael, did you want to add anything from Hollywood Senior Center or Center for Positive Aging on any of this that we're talking about today?
No, I mean, just that I thought it was a good program. I thought that, providing all those different, especially local options for people to be able to get around. I mean, I think it would be great to have continuing programs like this to, like Sharon's idea of how to get up to Vancouver and other ideas, or what was the one, the point to get out to the coast, or things like that, where both people, traveling local, but also having opportunities to be able to go a little bit further afield, if there's something out to Hood River or to Mount Hood or, things like that. So I just think having continuing programs like this to be able to give people opportunities to know how to get around.
And since we have you on the call, Michael, I know it's so hard to predict and plan with with COVID and the Delta variant. Where are we now with Hollywood Senior Center with proposed opening, and what does that look like?
So, I mean, opening and programming are probably two different things. So, you know, the November newsletter we're actually working on right now, and I am, you know, working on some things actually being back in the center in November. So, you know, there will be limited programming, will require vaccinations and people to show their vaccination cards. People will be required to wear masks. We won't do overlapping programs. So it'll be, you know, a program at 10 to 11 and then 11:30 to 12:30 or, you know, 12 to 1 or whatever. So, you know, it'll be limited programming that won't be overlapping. So it won't just be a full day of events going on. And then it'll also be, you know, relatively limited numbers as well, but people will be vaccinated. But so that's November. And then that'll be similar for December and moving forward. And if numbers continue getting better, we can hopefully add more as we go. As far as like when we reopen as a, you know, open door community center, I don't know what that looks like because it's, you know, just complicated as far as vaccinations and as far as the number of people. We do have the new My Senior Center system, which will hopefully make that process easier because once people have confirmed their vaccination status, they'll have their key tag. They'll just come in and be able to check in and it'll automatically show they're already, you know, they've already got their vaccination, you know, they've already got their key card. It'll just show them the events that are available, the activities that are available that day. If they don't have their vaccine, if we don't have their vaccination card on file, then it'll show a pop-up that says, you know, you need to talk to somebody at the front desk about confirming your vaccination status. So, you know, that we're hoping that, and we'll also be doing safety protocols like cleaning in between programs and, you know, having sanitizer around so people can do that. The bathrooms are hopefully going to be completed, you know, potentially at the end of next week, we're hoping. So, you know, things are coming together and we're starting to try and get people here again. People may be familiar that we're doing the live Zooming as well. So some of the programs people can actually, they're still virtual programs, are still on Zoom, but people can come here if they don't have a computer, don't have the internet, and they can participate from the center. So it gives, you know, trying to re-engage some people who haven't been able to participate in virtual programming to still be able to come here and do that. So
excellent.
Little by little, trying to re-engage.
I appreciate the thoughtful response in terms of, you know, making sure that the system is ready to go and that you can scan the card, it's in the system and makes it easier to access and have time between programs for cleaning. We do have from Leah, 1 second, Rika. Leah is asking Michael to provide your phone number again, and also if you could provide your email address, if you could just do that verbally. And then Rika, I'll get to you in a second.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down as well. So my phone number.
Oh, great. It's in the chat. Excellent.
Is
perfect.
So it's 971-341-2130. And if anyone has the chat, then they can also see my email address.
Okay. I think you can cut and paste it outside of there, right? I think you can go into the chat and cut it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Leah, it's in the chat as well. And Rika, you had another question or comment? You have to unmute though. I'll unmute you. I'll see if I can do it from here. Hold on. Oops. There's a button that I can press here. second.
I
You might
can't-
be faster than me.
I did.
Oops. Uh-oh, but I probably made you invisible. Sorry. I shouldn't mess around with these things. Sorry.
Okay, I wanted to plug in about the views. And since we're talking about the older adults, so there are a lot of conversation is going on, and the senior center has the information. So maybe people can check in there, what are the views is offering the facilitation of the lectures, so they can look into it.
Great.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, the views program. And I don't know. Oh, good.
On aging.
Yes,
It-
I'm familiar with it. I'm not sure if there's been anything in the updates recently about views. Michael, do you want to comment on that?
Well, I'm having on 27th October, something like that. Me and my another colleague, we're gonna facilitate another lecture, which is called Forgetfulness. And then I'm doing something in December. So there are quite a few.
Right.
Because of you, Amber.
So you tell them to quiet down over there, Michael. So to Rika's point, Michael, do you have that as one of your updates that you send out? Is it on the calendar?
Yeah, it is on the calendar. I mean,
Okay.
as far as any in-person programming with views, I've spoken to Kim and Jennifer at Views, and they're being pretty cautious and they're holding off on doing any in-person stuff. So it's going to continue to be virtual for a while.
Got it. Great. Thank you. Okay.
And Kim is leaving.
I'm sorry.
For the information, the Kim is leaving, and they're gonna have a new person.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good to know. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Okay. Any other comments before we go? Questions, Jim?
Paul, yes, one last comment with regards to the HOP card or the Honored Citizen card. If anybody that needs to get one, you can actually get the card. The card itself is free from either the TriMed office. There's a TriMed office at Pioneer Square or Fred Meyer's. And so that makes it very convenient for people. And then if you want to just maybe put $5 on it or something, you can do that. At $1.25, $5 will take you quite a ways.
Great. In closing, I want to thank our three panelists today, Linda, Vanita, and Jem. Thank you very much. And just to let you know, this came out of our Tuesday group that we do, our Coffee Clatch. If anybody's interested in coming to the Coffee Clatch, we meet twice a month. They're on Tuesdays, the first and third Tuesday of the month. So please join us. We have conversations, usually around certain topics. And also this shows you how this can morph into a program. For example, I think Michael's the only one here that knows this. I use a CPAP. Anybody here have sleep apnea? Am I violating any kind of, okay, so we have people here. I don't want to violate HIPAA rules, but here's what's going on is that there are many CPAPs that are causing cancer, and there's lawsuits, and a lot of people don't know about it, and it's really frustrating. And I've been so upset about it. I'm actually going to offer a workshop on November 4th. It's going to be a webinar, and I'm going to walk you through step by step what to do with this recall that most people who have CPAPs aren't even aware of. It affects 4 million people, and guess what? Seems like no one knows about it. So I'm going to walk you through some advocacy on how to navigate the system, because doctors aren't talking to the durable medical equipment, aren't talking to insurance, and it's this big circular thing. They'll say, talk to your doctor. You talk to your doctor, the doctor says, talk to the durable medical. They'll say, oh no, talk to your insurance company. No one is taking responsibility, and it's extremely frustrating. I've been so mad about it. I called Michael and said, that's it. I'm going to nominate myself, and I'm going to do a workshop on this because it's driving me crazy. I know many older adults who didn't even know about the lawsuit, didn't even know about the recall. I'm going to walk you through step by step. How do you even find out if you have a cancer-causing machine? Here you go, step by step by step. So anyway, that just came up because I've been so passionate about it. So that will be coming up on November 4th. So check the calendar soon. You'll get more information about that from Michael. All that to say, this is what is so important right now, especially during the pandemic, is to really support each other and to really educate each other. So again, Sharon, thank you for weighing in. Rika, Peter, the rest of you, just helping us realize that we don't have all the answers, but when we have conversations like this, it's really helpful. So thank you. All right, I think that's all I've got. Thank you very much. And we will see all of you soon, I hope.
Okay.
Take care.